"Oh, Leopard Lynn, we still have to eat, please get out of here." Charlie didn't bother to care about a small character like Leopard, so he directly bowed his hand and let him go. Leopard nodded and bowed his waist and said, "Don't worry, Mr. Wade, I'll get out of here." "Get out of here now." After finishing speaking, like a pug, he quickly retreated from the box. In the box, don't mention how uncomfortable Jianhua and Juan were. Charlie, who had just been mocked by them in every possible way, turned into Mr. Wade in the mouth of Brother Leopard. What the H*LL was going on? There must be some misunderstanding inside. Charlie is just a waste. Also worthy of being called Lord, a master? Stephen said to the two of them, "You two, let's have a snack in the future. You must be low-key when you come out. What should be said and what should not be said, think before you speak, it could bring you big trouble." Jianhua and Juan had just been beaten by Leopard, and now they dare not even let go. Stephen then said to Charlie, "Charlie, thanks to you, I toast you on behalf of everyone, thank you." Charlie smiled faintly, "It's just a small matter." The next day, Claire received an interview invitation from Shin Company. The interview was scheduled in the afternoon, and Charlie took advantage of Claire's attention and took out his cell phone to call Solomon White. After the call was connected, Solomon White's respectful voice rang. "Mr. Wade, what are your instructions?" Charlie said lightly, "My wife is going to apply for a job at Shin Construction Company. I want to ask you about this company." Solomon White was surprised and said, "Shin Construction Company? This company is a wholly owned enterprise controlled by the White family. Miss Wilson is going to apply for this company? This is too bad for Miss Wilson, or I will just remove the chairman of the company. How about changing Miss Wilson as the next chairman?" Charlie was stunned when he heard the words. He was a little surprised that Shin Company belonged to the White family. If Solomon White can help, it would be good, but after thinking about it, his wife wanted to rely on her own ability, so he said lightly, "No, you just arrange it then and let my wife pass the interview." Solomon White immediately respectfully said, "Okay, Mr. Wade, I will arrange it now." Here, after Solomon White just hung up the phone, he immediately asked his assistant to send a notice to the senior management of Shin Company. The thing Mr. Wade ordered, he must do well. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Claire was about to leave for an interview at Shin Company. Since the car was sent to the Force shop for maintenance today, Charlie and Claire had no choice but to take a taxi, but this was the peak time. The two waited on the roadside for a long time and did not get a taxi. Claire was a little anxious, and said helplessly, "If I miss the interview with Shin Company a little later, it would definitely give them a bad impression. I would not have sent the car for maintenance if I knew it." Charlie was also very helpless. Looking at the number of taxis, there are more than 50 people who can turn to him. It's really a mistake. At this time, a black Rolls-Royce Phantom slowly stopped in front of the two. The window rolled down and the person inside was Solomon White. He was surprised and said, "Mr. Charlie, are you planning to take a taxi?" Charlie was stunned for a moment. It's a coincidence that Solomon White just made it? So he said, "I want to take my wife to the Shin Company for an interview, why are you here?" Solomon White said quickly, "Mr. Charlie, it's peak time. It is estimated that it is difficult to get a taxi. If you don't dislike it, I will give you two a ride." Although Claire felt a little strange that Solomon White had just arrived, she said with embarrassment, "This is too troublesome for Mr. White." No trouble at all." Solomon White hurriedly got out of the car and opened the door for the two of them, very happy. Seeing this, Charlie touched his nose and didn't say a word. He knew that Solomon White had seized the opportunity to kneel, and he would definitely not let it go. It happened that he needed to use him too, so there was no reason to refuse. The driver drove in front, and Solomon White sat in the passenger seat, chatting casually with Charlie. As soon as she got into the car, Claire was very puzzled as she listened to the conversation between the two. This Solomon White is also a successful person in Orus Hill. He has a higher status in the business circle than the old Mrs. Wilson. He is usually stable, but Claire clearly feels that Solomon White seems to be playing Charlie's flattery, and he is particularly numb. She took a peek at Charlie, and saw that his face was natural, neither humble nor overbearing, and even more weird. Logically speaking, in front of Solomon White and other figures, ordinary people are only stubborn and try their best to please. But Charlie looks indifferent, and he doesn't even pay attention to Solomon White. What's more amazing is that Solomon White gave Charlie a villa worth more than 100 million, which is really strange. However, Claire had long heard that Solomon White was particularly superstitious of metaphysics. He would still burn incense and worship God of Wealth at home on the 5th and 15th of each month. It just so happened that Charlie seemed to have studied such mysterious things. For this reason Solomon White was so polite to Charlie.